lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding for those who walk this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibility to work together in the spirit of the intent of the treaties with all First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. And with that, I call the regular council meeting of November 4th, 2025 to order. First item on our list is the adoption of the agenda. Council, any additions? Administration?
No changes from administration.
Thank you. Delegates.
I'll move that we adopt the regular meeting of council agenda as presented.
Council, we have a motion to accept the agenda. Any comments? All in favor? Vote, please. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. The next thing, council, we have minutes for adoption. Natalie?
I would like to make a motion to adopt the organizational meeting minutes of council for October 28th and the minutes for regular council for October 28th.
Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any comments? Seeing none, let's vote. I can't see. I'm assuming it's unanimous. There you go. Okay, thank you. Any community announcements for us today?
There are none this evening.
Thank you. And then on to our action items. First action item, 5.1, the RCMP Civilian Governance Regional Policing. Administration.
And through the mayor, I will turn this over to Mr. Murphy.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Present before you here today is the Policing Committee bylaw in terms of reference number 2023. Just to provide a little bit of background for this new council. In 2024, the government of Alberta adopted the Police Amendment Act and related regulations, which amended and updated the Police Act in accordance with this new legislation. And based on our population size, we were required to either participate in a regional policing committee or seek ministerial approval to maintain its existing municipal policing committee. To proceed with the latter option, a new bylaw and updated terms of reference are required to ensure compliance with the legislation. This was first brought before Committee of the Whole on February 11th, 2025. At that point in time, a motion was made in favor of a municipal policing committee as opposed to the regional. Since that time, a draft of this bylaw in terms of reference has been brought back before committee, with the most recent committee putting it to today's date for you to see for your first time. I won't go through all of the motions over the last several months, but the terms of reference have been updated according to those meetings and the direction received by Committee of the Whole or Council. At this point in time, you have draft number 3 before you here today. And basically what we're looking for, administration is looking for today is your review, any questions, concerns to be shared with administration so we can come back. And the recommended action being that council give to the number 2023 with any amendments that you may propose. Just a few comments that I have just to highlight. That with the previous committee, previous council, there were some discussions with respect to the terms of reference regarding the number of public members appointed to the board. I just want to highlight again, the legislation is clear that our committee must be between 3 and 7 people. As you'll see in the terms of reference right now, it is selected at 5, that being 3 public members. And then the mayor and a council appointed member of the committee as well. One other change that was made from the last time this was presented is initially it had a minimum number of meetings required per year, being at 6. That has been changed to 4, with, of course, the ability of the committee to add any meetings they deem necessary. But we thought 4 is more sustainable long-term, and in speaking with the local RCMP detachment, they concurred that 4 was a suitable number for them as well. Administration would also like to clarify 8.1 of the terms of reference. 8.1, it is important to note that it is actually referring to the public citizen members of the committee. The definition, however, that is currently in there did add to some confusion. Thus, it is recommended moving forward that we add the word citizen before the word member. So it is very clear that we're not referring to mayor or a council member with respect to that clause. That is more meant for the volunteers from the committee or the community that will sit on this committee. Finally, you will note that there is a classification footer on the bylaw in terms of reference. It refers to it as protected A. This classification is not required and will be removed on the next draft that is brought before you. That is it for my comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Director Murphy. Council? Councillor Nelson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Murphy, I just had a question that says the minister may appoint a maximum of 3. I'm sure that's part of the regulation, but what does that look like? And typically why would that happen?
I did seek some through the mayor to council. I did seek some clarification with respect to that because initially there was not a lot of literature surrounding that. And the information I received that the province as part of these committees does retain the ability to appoint certain members, provincial members to the committee. I was told that that has yet to happen in the province with any of the municipal committees. However, it is there in the legislation, and I was told was always in the legislation. They just wanted it highlighted in our terms of reference in case. I was told that if we had a certain number of people on the committee, say 5, for instance, they would not exceed the 3 to 7 threshold, 7 being the maximum. It'd be 2 people appointed as opposed to 3. I did not get an answer with respect to if we had a full 7, what that would look like from the province's perspective. But again, it was highlighted to me that yes, it is in there, but they have not seen that actually come to fruition yet. The only other comment I'll make on that is that the Hinton RCMP detachment, like many detachments, have a municipal component and also a provincial component to their detachment. I could maybe see that the province at some point wanting a provincial representative to be able to meet with the detachment commander as well with respect to services on the provincial side of the house.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anyone else? Can I get a Councillor Chambers?
Thank you. Through the mayor to administration, I just have a clarifying question, if I may. In order to do first reading with the recommendations for the amendments of the classification and adding the word community members, would we be seeking first reading as amended, or we wait till second reading to do the amendments?
Through the mayor to members of council, no, my recommendation is to provide simply first reading and then the amendments occur prior to second. So if we put it on the floor with first, we could make any amendments that we see necessary after that.
Okay, thank you. If I may follow up.
Please.
So I would like to go ahead and make the motion that council give first reading to the policing committee bylaw number 2023.
Council, we have a motion on the floor. Comments, thoughts? Seeing none, please vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Council, how do we want to deal with this? Administration?
Through the mayor, we did have first reading in here as recommended, but certainly just given those amendments, we can certainly provide those amendments and second reading here today. if council wants to provide unanimous consent to move to third, we can as well, but we believe that first and second would be sufficient. And if council's happy with the bylaws presented, it'll be your decision to go to third if you'd like.
I guess I have a question in that regard then, because we have the dates that were included on page 16 of 45. It says that we have a transition period between November 2024 and February 2025. So, I mean, how does not moving through this tonight impact that?
I can touch on it if Mr. Murphy wants to add to it, but the original date that we needed to have this in place, I believe, was in March. That was the original legislation. I don't believe any community has complied with that timeline, just because at the time of the legislated transition period and moving to this new committee, there was no information available. So the town of Hinton is actually leading that charge, but that was the legislated transition date.
Thank you. Any other questions or thoughts? How do we want to deal with this? Councillor Chambers.
I'd like to make the motion that council gives second reading to the policing committee bylaw 2023 with the suggested amendments of the classification removed and under 8.1, adding the word community, I believe, is that,
Citizen.
or citizen, sorry. Citizen member, is that what that is? And if I can just speak to that, I think that there's been obviously fresh for this council, but I think that it's been reviewed quite aggressively through previous councils, and I'm comfortable with the amendments as it is to move ahead here.
Thank you. Council, administration.
Apologies, Mayor, but if I could just suggest a very small, possibly friendly amendment, but instead of citizen amendments, to put it at large, just because we have policing members and non-policing members, and council would be considered non-policing and citizen, but at large appointments, I think, is a little bit more clear.
I accept that amendment.
Councillor Nelson.
Would we not make amendments and then go to second reading? So we haven't approved an amendment. They're obviously I'd be in favor of them. They're just editorial, but I'm just not sure procedurally what we're with a second reading of a bylaw, what we should be doing.
Through the mayor, if council would like to vote on the amendments separately, and then vote to pass the bylaw as amended, that's typically how we do it. But if there's only a few minor amendments, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with providing it as amended with those two items in there, but certainly substantial amendments, those should be voted on separately, and then council votes on the bylaw as amended. But I don't believe there's any issues with doing this as long as council's comfortable with proceeding this way.
I'm totally comfortable with it. Thank you.
All right, and I guess from my perspective, they're completely clerical changes. So we have a motion on the floor. Any other comments, council? Seeing none, we're voting that council gives second reading to the policing committee bylaw number 2023 as amended. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Council? We're good to leave it here? Do you want to move forward, put this in place? I mean, I guess I put it out to administration. Is there any advantage to waiting?
Through the mayor to members of council, no advantage of waiting. If council's comfortable with what they see, there's no issues. We simply just we didn't recommend all three just because we knew this was the first time that it was in place in front of this new council. But if council's comfortable with it, we as administration are.
Councillor Nelson.
I would like to move to seek unanimous consent to go to third reading. And if I can speak to it, I think we're going to learn about this committee once this committee gets going and gets moving. And the quicker the committee can get underway and we get our citizens appointed, that's how we're going to learn whether the terms of reference are right. I'm guessing in a year from now, we'll probably be changing them. We have a lot coming down the pipe for this council and administration. And I'd rather just get this one checked off if council's comfortable. So thank you.
Council, motion on the floor. Any other thoughts, comments? Hearing none, we are voting that council give unanimous consent to move to the third reading of the policing committee bylaw number 2023 as presented. Please vote.
Yes, amended.
Yes, it should.
Through the mayor, we'll just push that back out to a vote.
Thank you. So now we're voting on a motion as amended. The council give unanimous consent to move to third reading of the policing committee bylaw number 2023 as amended. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Council? Councillor McLean.
To third reading, policing committee bylaw number 2023.
Thank you. All right, council, we have a motion on the floor. Any thoughts, comments? All right, so we're voting the council give unanimous consent. Oh, no, we're not. So do we need the as amended?
And Mayor, you don't need this for third reading because third reading should be approved without without amendment.
Amendment.
So
All right.
that amendment occurred in second reading and has been recorded.
Thank you. So we're voting the council give third reading and enact the policing committee bylaw number 2023. All in favor? And that's passed unanimously. Thank you, council. And I guess I have a follow-up question. What's our process now to go forward and bring in citizens to this committee?
Through the mayor, members of council. So now that this bylaw is passed, we will be advertising for our public at large members, and there is a process that we will need to be able to put in place for this specific committee and some of the requirements, but we will be advertising that quickly. And we can also bring back a report to council to appoint members to this committee as well, unless council wants to make that decision now, but we can bring this forward at the next meeting. We have lots of time.
I think that's best. We can appoint our representative from council at that point as well. Thank you. All right, then let's move on to 5.2, the Alberta Municipalities Boards and Committees.
Through the mayor to members of council. So this item is being brought forward every year. Alberta Municipalities seeks members to sit on a variety of different committees that is endorsed and ran by Alberta Municipalities, our provincial association. There is also an opportunity if council would like to join the Alberta Municipalities Board of Directors. I'll just say that the appointing to these committees isn't necessarily dealt with through our board and committee appointment policy, but through the policies of Alberta Municipalities. To run for a board position, there is a requirement to obtain council endorsement. For the committees, there's not, but we are recommending council provide a motion in support. We just think that putting the full weight of this council behind any member who wants to put their name forward for these committees would strengthen the application and just be a little bit more consistent with our practice, but it is not a requirement. So we do have a number of different committees that council could put their name forward. And if there is any counselors who would like to put their name forward for the 2026 term, if you could indicate that to us.
Council? Counselor Charlton. Oop, I turned you off. Hang on. Now I turned you on.
I would like to make a motion that council endorse Councillor Nelson to apply to the Alberta Municipalities Finance and Economy Committee, with the Infrastructure and Environmental Committee as a second choice for the 2026 term.
Council, we have a motion on the floor. Councillor Nelson?
Yeah, first, I would just like to say thanks. I will be applying for these, and I appreciate any endorsement if it does come. It's been a long time since Hinton has had anybody sitting on either the board or committees, and it's a great way to become more connected with our regional partners, with the province. And, if the community is looking to do some big things in the future, hopefully it's, one more tentacle out into the ether that helps us move things forward. And having served on a lot of the boards and committees and even employment in the past, I think I could be a strong voice for both Hinton and any of these committees. So thank you.
Council, any other comments?
Just one note for council. We do have a member who sits on the Infrastructure and Environment Committee, but that's Mr. McLaughlin, but that is as a non-elected member.
Thank you. All right, council, we have a motion on the floor. We will be voting that council endorse Councillor Nelson to apply to the Alberta Municipalities Finance and Economy Committee, with the Infrastructure and Environment Committee as a second choice for the 2026 term. All in favor, please vote. And that's carried unanimously. Congratulations, Councillor Nelson. Maybe you have some more work. We'll see. All right, so we're on to 5.3, which is council boards and committee appointments. Administration?
Through the mayor, that will be me. There was just an error at the last meeting where we had appointed Councillor Dooley Nelson. However, the intended appointment was Councillor Don McLean. So we are just looking for a motion to rectify that here today.
And to clarify, that was as the alternate
As the
member.
alternate for the Beaver Boardwalk Committee, correct?
Councillor Dunn.
I'd like to move that council approve Councillor Don McLean as the alternate to the Beaver Boardwalk Oversight Committee for the 25-26 term.
All right, council, we have a motion on the floor. Any thoughts, comments? Don, you're in. All right, so we'll be voting that council approve Councillor Don McLean as the alternate to the Beaver Boardwalk Oversight Committee for the 2025-2026 term. All in favor? And that's passed unanimously. So I guess everybody's picking up jobs here tonight. All right, so then we'll move on to 5.4, which is the council procedural bylaw. This is a notice of motion that I brought the last meeting. Bear with me one second. And I would like to move that council direct administration to bring forward the procedural bylaw to the next committee of the whole meeting with recommendation to include a minute with council. Councillor Nelson.
I do have a question. So when we open up bylaws, is the general expectation we open up, we make this quick change? Because I know the procedural bylaw is something that that took a significant amount of time. I personally, I really appreciate the practice of taking care of the little thing we need to take care of, and then knocking it off quickly again, but I know sometimes once you open it up, there might be administration might bring other things that if we're opening up, we might want to change as well. And I'm just hoping to not reopen something that could take us a significant amount of capacity to get through. So just any general feedback. Great. Thank you.
Well, I guess, I mean, it was my motion, so my thought was that's all that I would like to see come out of this. I mean, my motion's pretty direct as far as it relates to that one item. Now I know that Councillor Chambers had a twitch when that was suggested that we open this up again, but Councillor Chambers.
Thank you. Through the mayor to, I guess, administration. My only question on this is when it talks about bringing it to the next committee of the whole meeting with recommendations, are those recommendations going to be from the parliamentarian? Because there was a tremendous amount of discussion about this with previous council. And I'm not opposed to bringing back the minute with council discussion whatsoever, but I think that there was a great amount of work that went into discussing what is an appropriate way, what were some of the issues, why was it removed? There's a lot of background history, so I'm comfortable having that discussion in a committee of the whole meeting as long as it's coming back in sort of the robust format as to a bit of the why it was removed, and if we're bringing it back, what are those key things that we could do to bring it back in a fashion that makes it productive? Because I don't feel it was productive in its previous format. So just I guess a bit of a question as to, are those the type of recommendations you guys would be bringing back as kind of as a robust thing, or would that be a separate motion required to ask for parliamentarian input?
Administration?
Through the mayor to members of council. So the motion, as I read it, is we will be bringing forward recommendations of how to include it. So make recommendations on the format and all those types of things. But to your point of, you know, some of the recommendations and some of the background information that was provided by the parliamentarian as it relates to this bylaw, and especially as it relates to the minute with council process, will also be included as information. But our recommendations as administration will be focused on, you know, if we're bringing this back, you know, how do we see that working, and different options in that regard.
You good? Any other thoughts, comments? All right, seeing none, we will be voting the council direct administration to bring forward the procedural bylaw to the next committee of the whole meeting with recommendations to include a minute with council. All in favor? And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Look forward to that discussion. And then the last item on our action items is next Tuesday, we're going to be away. And so there's a meeting date change to the committee of the whole meeting scheduled for next Tuesday. Administration?
Yeah, through the mayor, just quickly, November 11th is a stat for Remembrance Day. So we're recommending that committee of the whole be canceled and it be rescheduled for Monday, November 10th. And I'll also mention that the 12th, we will be going to Alberta municipalities that day.
Council? Somebody want to make a motion? Councillor Nelson.
I'll move that committee of
Gotta
the
come
whole
up.
meeting of November 11th, 2025 be canceled and rescheduled to Monday, November 10th, 2025. Thank you.
Any other comments, council? Seeing none, we're voting that the committee of the whole meeting scheduled for November 11th, 2025 be canceled and be rescheduled for Monday, November 10th, 2025. All in favor? All right, and that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Next item, number 6 is notice of motions. Do we have any notice of motions?
We do not.
Thank you. So move on to reporting. Council, let's keep it short. If you have anything to report, do. If you don't, let's leave it go. We'll start with you, Councillor Dunn.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of attending the library board meeting last night, And myself and is new, obviously, and Andy is new, the gentleman that we voted in last week as a member. They have a very engaged committee, full schedule for the library, full programming, including events for young people to seniors. Yeah, so it was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor McLean,
Nothing to report.
Counselor Charlton,
Nothing to report.
down to the other end, Counselor Nelson,
Nothing to report.
Counselor McDonald.
Just like to remind everybody about Remembrance Day, next Tuesday at the Legion.
Thank you. And Counselor Chambers.
Nothing to report.
And I have nothing to report. We're breaking land record speeds here, so anything from administration?
Nothing to report.
All right, then our I guess the last item for adjournment would be a motion to move to closed session. Counselor Nelson.
I'll move that we move into closed session as per section 29 of ATIA.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion to go to closed session. All in favor? I'm assuming that's unanimous. Thank you. All right. Like, let's do a half an hour every week.
I'll get you that before it stops. Meeting of our.
Doing this in turn. Get the odd one like this and then some days it's not.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had, because you can't go into the next day. And one of our, like our third meeting, we shut it down at 10